You and I were just talking about how it's been chaotic every day this year for you. What does shipping traffic look like right now at the Port of LA?
Good afternoon, Scarlett. When we look at July and August combined, it'll be our best 2 months in the history of the Port of Los Angeles over the past 117 years. A number of importers tried to rush cargo in as quickly as they could as a hedge for year-end holidays and with the uncertainty of tariff announcements, noting that the China discussions got another 90-day reprieve. So I think you're going to see that July was the peak of the peak, and after September, cargo volume will dip compared to very high comps last year.
Okay, interesting. The removal of the de minimis exemption, which we were talking about earlier on Greater China, was earlier this year, while for the rest of the world, it was in late August. I'm curious how that shook out in terms of traffic into your port.
It's a change. Although it's a small percentage of the overall cargo volume coming into the port, dozens of countries have stopped shipping small parcels into the United States because of this change and the uncertainty associated with it. But it's the small to medium-sized businesses here in the United States, and especially in Los Angeles, that counted on that service so much. They're the ones we're watching closely that'll have to make these adjustments.
Absolutely. So do you expect cargo shipments to pick up as online retailers shift away from DTC to looking for distributors in the U.S., kind of the old way of doing business?
I don't know that you'll see an absolute change in the different segments, but there will be sourcing requirements that become new and unique based on this policy change. We're watching very closely.
How are you advising shippers then to adjust to this new reality?
Well, the interesting part about this, Scarlett, is that there have been more than 100 announcements on trade and tariffs since the beginning of the year, and folks just want the ground rules so they can go out and try to execute their businesses, whatever modifications may come. And we still don't have a lot of information. We talk a lot about the import side of the business. The exporters right now, agriculture, manufacturing, are in a similar spot, trying to understand where they can get to current markets and new ones alike with these framework deals, or those countries who have not yet agreed with the United States.
Oh, that's a really interesting observation and something that I think a lot of people don't pay enough attention to. Where do you see the bottleneck, that it's most concentrated right now?
Well, a couple pieces here. One, you're still seeing a pause from many companies, big and small, on making investment. And I think that's been exemplified by the jobs numbers over the last 4 months. There's not a lot of hiring taking place. With respect to orders that have already been put in for ships, trucks, and locomotives, that's one segment. But now, going forward, the capital investment is still pretty slow in our supply chain industry. We're a little different here at the port. We've tied down our financials over the last decade with strength, and we'll be able to invest through cycle. But not every private sector company is looking at it that way at this point.
How are you going to be doing things differently, Gene, over the next year in 2026? Because it's unlikely that a lot of the things that people are confused about will clear up anytime soon.
Stay nimble. Keep those strong relationships with our trading partners. The importer and exporter business here makes up over 200,000 companies. My work on traveling and through airports continues to make sure that we have the ground truth of what's going on in small and medium-sized business as well as our large customers, and trying to chase every pound of freight we can as these supply chains and trade patterns continue to change.